Hello and welcome to this introduction to bitPulse22. bitPulse22 is a network crowdfunding platform. bitPulse22, what does it mean? The bit stands for Bitcoin, and the pulse means that Bitcoin is pulsed through a network, and the 22 stands for the 22% of remainder distribution formula that is at the core of this entire platform. And you'll find out lots more about that in a minute. So bitPulse22 is a crowdfunding platform that pulses Bitcoin throughout its network of projects using the amazing ethical bitPulse22 formula. Many people say, oh, this is just like, no, there is nothing like bitPulse22. And if you think it is like this or that, you will be wrong. Sure, there are some overlaps with multi-level marketing, but it is not multi-level marketing. There is some similarity with some pyramids, but there is no pyramid. bitPulse22 is easier, faster, and much more ethical than any other form of networking or crowdfunding. It is, in fact, an amazing formula. The amazing ethical bitPulse22 formula evolved after 3 months of network research and development. We were modeling and simulating these networks. 6 existing networks were studied, and 4 existing networks were computer modeled and simulated to the extent where we were able to generate predictive cash flows for every single person within the network. All of these networks fell short on numerous rating criteria that we had evolved during our research. Now, the bitPulse22 formula was developed seeking a perfect formula, one that would pass all of our rating criteria. And it passed 100%. And it's all about this formula. The amazing ethical bitPulse22 formula is simple. Essentially, 22% of remainder is the formula. It is ethical. It is infinitely scalable. It delivers a donation focus structure, quite unique. It drives network growth and is network boundary centric. That's a counterintuitive statement, and we'll explain that a little bit along the way. The bitPulse22 platform delivers the formula. It's all about the formula. You get involved to participate in the formula. And the formula makes it easy. Our formula ensures that your part is as easy and simple as possible. And that is that there is a single Bitcoin deposit, and all you need to do is connect 3 projects. That's your part. You do this, and then you pass it on. Now what we're going to do is have a look at the web, and I will walk you through the various pages of the bitPulse22.net website. All right. Now what I have here is I've got two browsers essentially with the same page. This one over here and that one over there are the same page. It's just I've got a vertical format here so you get a better view of it. And this is a more normal view that you would normally scroll down. This is the bitPulse22.net home page, and it welcomes you saying, get connected, connect others, get funded. It is that simple. Simplicity is one of the biggest measures that we have made during our research, and bitPulse22 delivers simplicity in spades. It is one of the biggest keys to successful networking. So you get yourself connected, you connect others, and then you get funded. And it then straight away tells you how that happens. It happens with the amazing ethical bitPulse22 formula. So we're going to explore that formula now and give you a 100% insight to exactly how that works. Every 2 hours, every day of the year, a donation pulse is processed using our unique formula. Each member donates a bi-hourly pulse of $1 Australian worth of Bitcoin. Each member pays that forward, $1 Australian in Bitcoin, which is recalculated every 2 hours just before the pulse is processed. So it will be exactly the same for everyone for that pulse. So $1 Australian. And this pie chart is one of these dollars. That's the best way to look at that pie chart. Imagine $1 being donated and that dollar being divided up, and being divided up much more finely than just dollars and cents. Because we are in Bitcoin territory, we can do it much finer than that, and indeed bitPulse22 operates down to 20 decimal points of accuracy. So that pie chart is the at a glance, aha, this is what is going on in bitPulse22. The very first distribution is 1/3 of $1, 33.33 repeater percent. And that goes to your inviter. The person who invited you receives 1/3. So it's important to realize that when you have invited 3 people and you receive 3 lots of these, your pulse is covered. And that was the major shift that we did. Originally that was 22%, and we shifted the very first division to be 33.33%, so that only 3 connected projects means that your pulse is covered. If then there is a fourth, that will be surplus. Or if they in turn have their projects connected, there will be surplus. And once that 1/3 has been distributed, the 22% of remainder formula functions from there on. So you have, after taking the 33.33% and giving it to the first inviter, you have 66.66% left. And 20% of that is 14.67%. And that is the slice that goes to the next inviter, the person who invited your inviter. The next slice is 22% of the remainder. 52% remains, and 22% of that is 11.44%. But this third slice, it goes to the welcome pool. It's a special slice, and I will cover that in a minute. And then after that, it is simply 22% of 40%, which is 8.9%, goes to the next inviter. 22% of the remainder goes to the next inviter, and so forth. And this is what it looks like, and it gets finer and finer. And you get a bit of a look at the descending percentages. And you might think, oh, gee, 1.22%, that's not very much. Well, when this functions in a network, you'll realize that at layer 11, there can be thousands of people donating their pulse. So thousands of people times that 1.22% actually adds up. And you will see that more clearly when we go to the calculator. So each pulse of $1 worth of Bitcoin is distributed to the project network using this unique 22% of remainder formula. After the very first distribution is 1/3. Now, another way of looking at this is by looking at a linear graph, and it provides the view of the direction of network growth, because the formula uniquely supports network growth by driving the largest part of the donation in the direction of network growth. And this is a very unique feature of the bitPulse22 formula. And here you see the welcome pool. That welcome pool, in fact, distributes it even further to the network boundary by distributing a donation to all the people who have not yet connected a project. And we'll look at that more carefully later. So the formula maximizes pulse distribution to the growing network boundary, while at the same time creating a donation focus for each project. And this is what that donation focus looks like when each project connects exactly 3 other projects. Now, this is not necessarily the precise shape, and it can vary widely, but nonetheless, this gives a very accurate average kind of view of what that looks like. So in that first layer, those 3 1/3 add up to one pulse, and so that covers your pulse. And then the second layer builds surplus at 14.67%. And as you see, there's 9 of those in the second layer. The third layer at 8.92%, and subsequent layers build surplus using the 22% of remainder formula. And this distribution and donation focus is quite unique to bitPulse22, and every single project that connects will build exactly this type of donation focus. No matter where you are in the network, you will have this donation focus focused upon you, and is by reason of this formula. So now what I would like to do is go to the calculator and that really points to the business end of what that formula does when it is applied across a network. And we have a few different structures to choose from. I won't go into the variations. The 3x3 is what we recommend in any case. We're looking at the currencies in Australian dollars, but you can choose different currencies around the world to if you're in those countries. And we're starting with 2 layers. I knew I should have stopped my email application. I might just do that now. Okay, so this calculator is telling us about layers, layer 1, layer 2, and over here you can see what a 2-layer network looks like in terms of that donation focus. In layer 1, the distribution percentage, as we discussed earlier, 33.33%, or 1/3. The number of projects in a 3x3 is 3, and the amount of pulse bits, which are 1/10,000th of a Bitcoin, is 0.7, and that just gives you a Bitcoin view of it. But we will just remain focused on the Australian dollars because it is indexed to the Australian dollar. So therefore, 3 lots of 1/3 deliver you 1 Australian dollar. And the second layer then is 14.67% with 9 projects, and that adds up to $1.32, and that makes a total of $2.32 that you have received at that pulse. That's what you receive every 2 hours when your network reaches 12 people in this way. Then we subtract your donated pulse, and that leaves $1.32 that is surplus from that particular pulse. So 2 layers, you are in surplus. 1 layer, you essentially break even, or your pulse is covered. 2 layers, you are in surplus. If there's one other person in that second layer, you are in surplus. But when each one of those gets there, 3, there's 9, there's 12 people all up, it's $1.32 surplus each 2 hours. Now that is projected to daily, so that's times 12 is $15.84. Weekly is $110, and monthly it's $491. So that is a very, very rapid result. Now each one of these layers is projected to take 1 month. With other words, everyone who comes into the network ideally brings 3 other projects within 1 month. That is what the formula is keyed to. And of course, it need not take 1 month. It can be a whole lot quicker than that. We have had people use a week or less to do this. The formula is keyed around 1 month, and each one of these layers consequently is projected to take 1 month. Of course, it gets broader and broader, but a lot more people involved. But when they all do their thing, it will take 1 month for each layer. So very quickly, there's a handy little surplus, $491, nearly $500 Australian. And again, this is what the donation focus looks like at layer 2. Now, the calculator also has a story, which we won't explore all the stories. For each layer, there is a bit of a story underneath. And you can read that and get more context for each layer and what it took to get there. But at the bottom, it says for each one, and remember this, each project only needs to complete layer 1. Layer 1 meaning connecting 3 projects. All subsequent projects simply repeat that. It's then their turn to connect their 3. Remember that simplicity. Your part is to complete that layer, that green layer at the top. That's your part. And then that part is completed by those 9 people, and so forth. So now we go to the next layer, and I suggest that when you bring people to the platform that you use this calculator. This is your go-to for demonstrating the business end of what it's capable of, and you step through these steps. You don't go straight to level 7. You start with step 2, show how that builds, and go to it through the different layers. So the next one is layer 3. And it looks much the same, except now we have this layer here, and that builds a total of $4.73. Minus your pulse leaves a surplus of $3.73. Now that's $44 a day, $313 a week, and $1,387 a month. Now that's a very impressive return after 3 months and only 39 people having built up in your network. I'd like to point out how these percentages are going down, which is because of that pie chart that you saw earlier. But even though they're going down, because the number of projects involved at each layer are going up, the amount that you are receiving from each layer is going up. And that is the fine balance of the 22% of remainder function. It is a very special function. It's finely tuned. It does this best. That proportion, 22% of remainder, does this, and is part of the magic of how this particular function builds your surplus. So layer 4 is adding one more layer. 81 people have joined at that layer in 4 months' time at just short of 7%, and that has added another $5.64, making a total of $10.37 every 2 hours. Subtracting the 1 that your pulse is, that's $9.37 every 2 hours. So you're projecting that, and you're now looking at $3,485 per month. Now, this equates quite closely to the kind of surplus that many people spend much of their time working to be able to achieve this kind of surplus in their lives. And don't forget, your part was this part up here. And everyone is repeating that part. 120 people in a network, that is very modest. It's not any very large number, and it is a very significant result. And this is what your donation focus looks like up to layer 4. This is a layer 4. Achieving layer 4 is a major milestone. We don't have, silver, bronze, gold, diamond, whatever. But if you are in bitPulse22 and you're a layer 4, that speaks for itself. And so the calculator will go up to 7. It doesn't mean that that's the end of what the network can do. It is just where we've stopped the calculator. So we will step quickly now through the remaining layers to show you what can actually happen. 5 months down the track, we have 363 people in your network, $22.56 surplus every 2 hours. And that is $8,393 a month. Layer 6, and now your network is starting to really hit its straps. You've gone past 1,000 people in your network. There's $53.44 per every 2 hours, just short of $20,000 per month. And layer 7, which is where the calculator cuts off, but not the network. The network has no limit. It will just keep going. And we're talking $125 every 2 hours, amounting to $46,700 per month. So you can see the very significant surplus that your project can generate when the network really hits its straps. And there really is no limit to that. This is very modest. These are very modest numbers from our network research. And these are exceptional results for these network numbers. These are exceptional results. This formula outperforms everything else that we have studied significantly. All right, so take people to the calculator, step them through the layers, and give them a sense of what this does and what is involved. And keep reminding them that their part was that first layer, bringing their first 3 projects. And then essentially it is done. In practice, you will be much keener than that. You will be enjoying the growth of the network and the people involved and all of the other social interactions that the platform stimulates. But that is the simplicity of it. That is your part up there. And all the other projects are repeating that same part. And this is the result. All right, now I will quickly touch on the guide, which provides you a good overview, a good quick guide. We won't go into those details. More about that formula, more details as we covered on the front. And it tells you about the free week. So you can come into bitPulse22, you can connect, and you do not need to have your Bitcoin wallet organized or anything ready to go. You just connect, you create your project, and straight away you will have an inviter link. And we'll have a look at the inviter link in just a moment. And you can use that inviter link and start communicating and start building that network within that free week without having to activate or have your Bitcoin ready. But that free week is there for you to organize all that as well. So you can connect, you can begin immediately to grow your network and then get your Bitcoin wallet organized and funded and transfer 220 Australian dollars worth of Bitcoin into your bitPulse22 wallet. And we'll have a look at that in a minute. And inviter links, we will cover that in a moment. And the welcome pool, I meant to touch on that. The third step of the 22% of remainder formula, instead of going to the next inviter, it goes into a pool. It's accumulated into a pool, and that pool is set aside until the end of the pulse processing, and the platform then says, okay, now who in that last pulse hasn't received anything because, well, they haven't connected anyone. And it then, and that would be you when you first connect, for example. And then it says, okay, well, I will take this pool and I will equally divide it among all of the people who have just joined. And so straight away, the moment you become active, not during a free week, it's when you have activated using your deposit. The moment you become active, you will be receiving your share each 2 hours of the welcome pool. And it's a gesture by the entire network welcoming people to bitPulse22. How cool is that? There are donation layers. There's partial activation. I'll get back to that. And so now we're going to have a look at the members area and explore inviter links and a few of the other services available there. All right, we're going to have a look at inviter links. The moment that you connect to bitPulse22, you will have a login area, and there is an invites button there, and this is what you see when you click that invites button. And here you can generate an inviter link that you use to invite other people, other projects to connect to your project. And this is the link itself, where you click on that to copy it to the clipboard, and then you can just paste it into an email and send it to whoever you like. Now there are a couple of options with the inviter link. You can choose just where to send the person on the web, the home page or the connect page or the calculator. And you can choose a structure or a direct link. And this is a very convenient and useful function that the platform offers. So I'd like to explain that for you so that you get that right when you first use it. Essentially, when you send this link to somebody and they click on it, and they can browse the web and go wherever they like, but when they get to the point, when they get to the connect button and they fill in their details, they will be connected to your project. Now when you have selected the direct method, all the people who connect on that, they will be directly connecting to your project. And that's a perfectly fine way to go. However, there are a lot of people out there who've got large numbers of people that they are associated with, and they don't want them all connected directly to themselves. They would like to build a network structure so that a certain amount of people get connected directly, but then it brings new people underneath those people. And that is what happens when you select, and we suggest the TRIA structure, a 3 by 3 by 3, because it links up nicely with the 1/3 division of the first payment, that is one that covers your donation with 3 people connected. But this is an open network, and it does not restrict you to any structure at all. It is a simple inviter hierarchy. This person was invited by that person, and there's no binary structures, no pyramid or a left leg or a right leg. It is an open inviter network. But within that network, you can grow these structures. It's up to you. Or if you use the direct link, then that will always connect those people directly to your project. So we like the idea of people with large numbers of people to connect to use these structures, because it will build a structure that also helps those people grow their own networks. So how does that work? I've created a little bit of a animation here, and so if that's you and someone has connected using the 3 by 3 by 3 TRIA, then the first person connects to you, the second connects to you, the third connects to you. But then the next person connects to the next longest waiting person, which is person number 1, connects one person to them. Then the next person come in is connected to the next longest waiting person, which is person number 2. So you've got now 2 people, each with 1 person underneath them, and so forth. And then it then says, okay, there's this person, everyone's got 1. This person is the next longest waiting, I'll give them to, and then the next longest person I'll give them to, and the next longest waiting person I'll give them to, and then it does the same like that. And then essentially that is repeated. So that's 1, 2 layers, and that is just repeated for each of the layers. And that essentially builds a structure that is the same as we used to look at the 3x3 in the calculator. So that is a very, very handy thing. So when you set that, you then just copy that link, and then that link can just be sent out to however many people you like, and it will automatically grow that structure for you and for them. Also in this area, you can list the different number of people. Just a moment, just scroll down. So you can just create a list of people and put their name, their email and phone in here. You can check or uncheck whether you have called them or sent them an email. And also you can click a compose button, and when you do, it will compose an email for you, including your inviter link in that email, and some other details, and you can then copy that body and you can paste it into whatever email application that you are using. This will not send an email. We cannot be seen to be sending emails out to people. We are in danger of being marked as spam, and that would be very bad for us. So you need to send it from your email address, which is much better in any case, because people will know who is sending. They will know your email address. But it will compose the email for you. And you can copy the subject, the email, and the body of the email, and paste it into your email application and send them an invitation. So that is the inviter link and the structured inviter link, which is a very, very powerful way of building a structure and network. Now, when you're looking at the projects, and again, this is a demo, normally there would be a larger number active here. This is in a demo mode. But you can look at all of the people that are connected and your entire network, and you can explore that network using your projects button in your login area. And the other thing that you can do is that you can click on their particular detail link, and that will take you to a page that gives them, allows you to see their current account details, and also provides you with their inviter link. And that inviter link then allows you to invite a person to go underneath that particular person. So that is another option for you to manage particular connections for people, if that's something that you wish to do. But by far the most convenient way of managing your inviter link is to build structure 3x3x3 and use that inviter link. And you can just post it everywhere and it will automatically build that structure for you. Very convenient. On the home page, you see the total amount of funding and the balance. Now the balance is less than the total amount of funding because funds have been withdrawn in this particular instance. And the total amount that you have donated and the total amount that you have received. Here is your wallet, and in that wallet you are able to withdraw any sum that is greater than 220 Australian dollars worth of Bitcoin at the current value. That is retained for a number of reasons. I won't dwell on them right here. But as soon as your surplus goes past 220 Australian dollars worth of Bitcoin, you can withdraw the difference at any time by going to the wallet, your Bitcoin wallet, whether it be a CoinJar wallet or a Trezor hardware wallet, blockchain wallet, whatever kind of wallet that you are using. You go and get a receive address from your wallet and you paste that here, and then you click withdraw, and that's it. Bang, you withdraw that amount. It's that easy, and you can do that anytime, at any time. There's also a pulse history, so that will provide a listing of, like a statement of all the pulses, every 2-hourly pulse, and what you have received. And the last pulse, which gives you a breakdown of how much you have received from each one of your network. That gives you a good insight into that. So that is the service available within your login area. You can edit your details over there, and you can have this page here open at any time, and you're able just to have that on your mobile or whatever. Just keep this page open. That will update every 2 hours and after a pulse, and that will just show you the current amount received and the amount received last pulse. And so once you are active and you've got projects building and you've got pulse being received, you can then just show that to anyone and say, hey, this is my wallet, this is my balance, and this is what I'm receiving. Okay, so you're getting a very clear view of the simplicity of this. There's really no more to it. Use these invited links to connect your 3 or more. If you have a network of 200 people, well, that one inviter link will work for all 200 of them and build a beautiful structure. Whilst as soon as they all connect, they will connect in a beautiful structure for you. Very, very convenient. And that is what you do. And when you first connect that wallet, it won't have a balance. It'll be asking you to make your 220 Australian dollars worth of Bitcoin deposit. And that just works in the other way around. It will give you an address to send that to from your wallet. All right, well, I think that is a good, clear and clean insight so far. And I will just leave the web demo at this stage, and I will just summarize. Well, bitPulse22 is a crowdfunder's dream come true. You do not need to find thousands of people to send you some money for your project. You need to find 3. Who find 3 who find 3. And that is the beauty of networking. bitPulse22 is network crowdfunding. And it is a beautiful collaborative way of going about it. And it is just perfect for all the wonderful benevolent projects that I know that people have got in mind to fund with the platform. But the platform is, at the end of the day, purely a formula, just like Bitcoin is a formula. It uses the internet, encryption, it is an encrypted ledger, and it uses some synchronization formulas that make Bitcoin work. And Bitcoin doesn't care how you spend it or what you do with it. And in the same way, bitPulse22, it's agnostic. It does not mind what you do or do not do with it. It is a formula, and you get involved to engage with that formula. And you want to understand that formula. You want to understand that simple requirement of that one-time deposit and connecting 3 other projects within 1 month. That is your part. Now, from a networker's perspective, surely that is a dream come true also. That is as easy as it gets. It is an excellent formula, and the platform itself is now smooth, easy, clear, and provides excellent support with its guide. There's more support in the FAQ. How do you set up your Bitcoin wallet? That's all in the FAQ. There is lots of support from the platform itself, but much more importantly, there is a growing level of support from the membership and all the people who are enthusiastically embracing bitPulse22 to make their dream projects come true. And that is what inspires me the most, is how this platform can now run around the world and light up all the dream projects and all the benevolent things that need to be done. I thank you very much for watching this video, and I wish you all the very best with your bitPulse22 projects. Thank you.